This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
I have a beautiful woman in studio, and Luck, or Lady Luck, has shown me the door out. Because I've met her twice, and she doesn't remember even one of those locations.
Oh,
Sarah Jane Dias, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And that is not true.
It is true.
Incorrect.
I want to start right at the beginning. I believe you schooled in Muscat.
Yes.
So how did VJing happen? How did a performing career happen? At what point did you decide to move to Bombay?
Well, I always wanted to perform. I didn't know what form of performing it would be. And I moved after 12th and came and did 3 years of college over here. And the rest is history. VJing kind of... I got called in for an audition, Hrishi. That's pretty much how it happened. I had started doing the bits and bobs of ad films during college. And then I think just sort of going out there, meeting people. Someone said they're auditioning for VJs at Channel V. And then they said there was this show going on. Channel V's on the run. So, yeah, Lady Luck did smile on me.
I remember it was a travel show because I used to be in the studios, the audio studios at Star, doing various voiceovers, and I would always stop by the edit suites,
Oh, man.
when your
Would...
picture would come up. It was a travel show, and you obviously had lots of fun.
Oh,
yeah, lots of sleepless nights.
Lots of fun, lots of sleepless nights, lots of giggles, and we went all across the country. I think it'll be by far one of my most favorite jobs ever. Ever.
Being a video jockey.
Being a video jockey.
Or that particular show.
That particular show. And I was really lucky because that was my first show. And we took us 3.5 months and we went right across the country in a cars.
Wow. And who were the other two?
Anushka and Purab.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
And still friends of yours? Still keep in touch?
Very much indeed. Very much indeed.
Purab was quite amazing. I went on vacation in December, finally, just before Christmas, and he came in and he filled in for me. It was really sweet of him.
Amazing.
I just tried my luck with an SMS. I believe he's moved to Goa.
He has moved to Goa.
Lucky
in fact,
bum.
he's my neighbor.
Oh, you live there too? Like you guys bought plots next to each other. How cool is that?
We have flats opposite each other. I do spend a lot of time there. I don't live there, but let's see. Inshallah, maybe I will live there someday.
So the video jockeying happens, and then when did you decide to be part of Miss India? Was there a point you said, I want to do the pageant? What was the reason to do the pageant?
I had wanted to since I was a child. Mom and I used to watch all the pageants growing up. And I think just there's a part of me that was just really fascinated with it, and that sort of want never really left me. And I think I was just around the cutoff age, and I looked at the ad and I said, you know what, if I don't do this now, I'm going to look back someday and deeply regret it.
You wanted to get it out of the way.
I wanted to get out of the way because I was like, okay, if I lose, I lose. But at least I'm one of those people. I really am one of those people. I will not give up before I've even tried something. So, what you asked me was exactly what my boss at Channel V asked me. That's like, why are you doing the pageant? What if you lose? I said, then I lose. I didn't, but...
Well, nice one. More Sarah up ahead, some music and back.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Sarah Jane Dias is with me, and we're going to be, over the course of this hour, talking about her life and times. We reached VJing and entering beauty pageant. What happens post that? So what, you win? And
I won, then I got whisked off to China for the Miss World, where I placed, I think I did really well in the talent round, which was fun. And then I came back to do a bunch of commercials. Then I did Game, which was my first film. And then I think that's what started off the acting career.
What did you learn from Miss India most that has stood you through life? What to do, what not to do.
Yes. I think what to do, what not to do, how to be diplomatic, how to carry yourself in various kinds of crowds, how to wake up in the morning and look like you just stepped out of a magazine. Not that that's necessarily what I do every day, but no, I think it really makes you very thick-skinned because you have to understand that all these women who come, whether it's to the local pageant or the international pageant, they're all very ambitious. They're all vying for the crown. And I think it really toughens you up. And as with life, you meet all sorts of people, and just like that with these pageants, there are all kinds of fun, crazy women.
Any friendships that have survived from there or none?
Yes and no. There are some which we were very close during the pageant, and then we sort of grew apart. But I've been to New Zealand and visited Pooja Chitkopekar, who won Miss India Earth when the same year as me, and Yendi Phillips and I, who's Miss Jamaica, keep in touch. And then there's Miss Indonesia, who was my roommate. So yeah, there have been a few.
But domestically, when you won Miss India, there's just Pooja. Nobody else that you...
Pooja and Shilpa Keswani. Who, Shilpa, if you're listening, hello.
That's the Miss India phase. Pictures of Sarah coming up at HRISHIKAY. You can follow that handle and you see them on the timeline. You can react to this interview, and it's facebook.com/radio1.mum. You can like the page and you will see them again on the timeline. Messages and back.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Sarah Jane Dias is here. From VJing to acting to modeling, and now a fledgling music career, which I'm very excited about. And so is she. We will talk about that later in the show. And then the movies happen, yeah? We talked pageant, we talked the VJing days. The movies happen. I thought Game was extremely stylized. In fact, I own a DVD copy.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I missed it in the theaters and I wanted to watch it, and I thought it was really slickly done and stuff like that. And it was Abhinay Dio, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I vote for the re-release of Game.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe it was ahead of its time.
I think it really was.
Yeah?
I really think it was ahead of its time.
Talk about filming it, talk about the movie, talk about the experience of working in that.
I won't lie, it was extremely difficult and it was very challenging because A, it was my first role. B, it was with star cast like Abhishek and Kangana and Baman Irani and Anupam Kher, and and I was just like, what on earth am I gonna do? But Abhinay was extremely nurturing and supportive, and we had meetings and discussions about the character. Obviously, the girl who I play in the film, Maya, she's very I wouldn't call her a style icon, but she's very highly styled in the film. Because she goes from being, she gets sold into prostitution when she's very young, and then she becomes a bar dancer, and then she just becomes this de-glam woman in love who then dies pregnant with Abhishek's baby. So when I read this in the script, I was like, okay then, that's one heck of a first role to play. But I have to say that I watched all the films I could, I read all the books I could, and I remember having a conversation with Abhinay once going, Abhinay, I don't know if I even can act. And he's like, Sarah, you can. Trust me. It'll come. Just breathe and it'll come. I said, okay. And now 9 films later, when I look back, I know the process that one needs to get into a certain frame of mind. But back then, like for example, I will never forget, there's the scene where he goes where we get locked in the ice room, right, where he gets shot. And I figured that being in there and high adrenaline and things, I needed to get my heart racing. But back then, because I hadn't done any classes or workshops or anything like that, nothing intense at least, I just drank like 3 cups of coffee back to back. So I was just breathless through the whole thing. It worked. It really worked because I was genuinely breathless. And I think that's what I truly have enjoyed about the whole acting process, actually, just stepping aside from Game up until now, is that I feel like I learn every time I'm in front of the camera. There are always those sort of tricks and things that you can do, and even if you don't have the tricks, then I think after having done these many films, you sort of learn how to go deep into your subconscious to evoke the emotions that you need, which I've had to in some of the more serious roles that I've done. I remember my first comedy, which was Kya Super Cool Hai Hum, which people are just like, oh, it's just a comedy, but it's really not easy to make people laugh. I think I managed to do it well. I've always been a bit of a dork and a goofy character in school and college, but I think all in all, acting's been very rewarding, and I look forward to doing more.
More Sarah up ahead on the show. Don't go anywhere.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
I'm with Sarah Jane Dias. She is my guest of the day on the show, and we're talking what is a really, really eventful life. I believe you were discovered by a photographer by accident.
Yes.
Tell us that story.
It was Christmas. We distribute sweets, right, in the building to the neighbors and things. So I went upstairs to what then used to be Mavi Beck's house, who's a very well-established makeup artist. And there was a shoot going on in the house. This is Bandra. Yeah. And I knew that, that Mavi was, and Mavi every now and then would call and say, can you come please be my girl so I can do makeup and demonstrate on you? And then I'd be like, yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, I was always interested in the idea. I just didn't know how or where, because I don't have a godfather in the industry. And literally not anybody in my family does what I do. So anyway, and this was I think a day after college, and I went upstairs. Mom said go give sweets, and I did. And I remember, I will never forget, Suresh Natarajan was there, who is, everyone knows, a veteran. And Suresh looked at me and said, are you a model? I said, and before I could even say anything, Indira Breadmeyer, who again is from the industry, has been a Miss India, is now casting. She said, "Oh, I know you, my girl, because apparently my mom and her mom were in school together or something like that in Bandra." And she said, "Come." So they just, next thing I knew, I was being put into hair and makeup, and I will never forget. I was wearing baggy jeans and a t-shirt and lots of those. Remember, there was the time when those black bands were in fashion, the rubber things.
Of course.
Yeah, so I thought I was uber cool. Had like a million of them on my hand, and I had my Discman, not MP3
No
player,
iPods,
my
yeah,
Discman
Discman,
in my back pocket. And Suresh literally said, he said, "Just sit there and listen to your music," and that became my first ever billboard for a finance company, which then led to me doing a Quality Walls commercial, which then led to me doing a Sony Handycam commercial. So it just sort of, it was amazing how it actually happened, you know, when I think back now. I was lucky because I think prior to that, it was endless auditions and waiting in lines, and Mom and I used to sometimes do 4 or 5 auditions in a day, go from like Andheri to Famous Studios and back. And it was grueling and intimidating, and
Wow.
you know, you come home sometimes really disheartened because you've been for like 8 auditions and you've waited a week to hear back. And you know, as with industry, I'm sure people in the industry will agree, when you don't get it, they never call you back, so you don't know. So it was a blessing. I'm very grateful.
More pictures coming up of Sarah on Facebook as well as Twitter. I want to know about your website, your Twitter handle, your Facebook page, all of that. Just give it up.
My Twitter is sarahjane-03. I'm not very opinionated, but there's often some funny things that come up there. Instagram is just Sarah Jane Dias, where you will see tales of my travels and all the yoga that I do. My website is just simple, sarahjanedias.com, where you will find a bunch of new pictures that I just shot with a budding new photographer, and the promo for my first music video.
We're going to be back. Messages and back.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Sarah Jane Dias is in studio, and all of a sudden I feel she could be my friend. I don't say that to people I interview.
Really?
I swear to God. I don't. Anyway, let's come to music.
Yes.
You know, I've heard some patches of your work. We are eventually going to play it on the radio when you're ready with it. But singing, when did you find your singing voice, and how?
Well, like all good Catholic children, we did lots of singing in mass.
Church choir, what? Wow, very nice.
Of course, have to at some point. But no, I've always had a singing voice. I decided to do a bit of training. So I went to 3 months of school at TSM and did a lot of classes with Samantha Edwards.
Sam is amazing.
She's amazing.
She came here with a bad throat on Christmas Eve, and she still sang pristinely.
Sam on a bad throat is like, I don't even know what to say to her. So anyway, and I think that, and then there have been various musicians who've become friends over the years, from Vishal Dadlani to Mikey McClary, who've sort of been very encouraging, because I think that, you know, your voice, and even with acting for that matter, sometimes just gaining that little bit of confidence or getting that assurity from someone who's in the know can make so much of a difference to sort of, what they say, open up your voice. And I think that it was not so much finding my singing voice as much as just opening it up. And once I did, I mean, I remember going into the studio for the first time to sing a song which will one day come out called Wild Heart, that Mikey's composed, and I sang. And I think I teared up a bit, because when I heard the playback, I couldn't believe that was me. So yes, I'm happy that I found it. It's brought me a lot of peace.
And I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of you at the All-Star Jam at the Jack and Jones store, and you've really gone into a zone. I love the guttural sound that you make at particular points of time. So you're an absolute natural. There's also a song that's really close to your heart, which you've actually written the lyrics on, and actually taken part in the composition of it. Forgot to Be Me.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the song.
Well, Forgot to Be Me is the last song that I've written thus far, but has turned out to be the first song that I've actually made the video for. I've lived with that idea for, I think, many years, but didn't see it come to a finalization until the lyrics put themselves down on paper. And I say put themselves down because I think that with all the songs that I've written thus far, the idea sometimes I feel is in your head, but it has to be the right event that triggers the writing. And that event, I think, presented itself to me sometime last year, and I just owed it to experiences that I've been through and my friends. And it's called Forgot to Be Me because I think that we go through, a lot of us, our relationships, sadly the ones that end, trying to make them work, and losing all semblance of who we are. And I think that's what the song is about, actually. Is that, when something that's really close to your heart ends, you sort of feel a bit empty. You feel lost. And I couldn't find a frivolous way to express it. So this is what came out.
Lovely. More Sarah up ahead. Don't go anywhere. And if you want a sneak preview of the promo to the song, you can go onto our website. It's there. Just a website again, please.
sarahjanedias.com.
sarahjanedias.com. Don't go anywhere.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Sarah Jane Dias is in studio. What are you saying? What are you saying? Angry?
Angry Indian goddesses.
We're going to talk about Zuban and Angry Indian Goddesses. Angry Indian Goddesses is a movie that I've gotten little snippets of from Anushka Manchanda, from Sandhya Mridul, and now I want to know your thoughts on it. It's a pan-Nolin film.
It's
and
a pan-Nolin
You gave a part of yourself to it.
Oh,
more than a part.
More than a part. I think it, if I do say so myself, reinvented me as an actor.
And a person?
And as a person.
Okay.
Most definitely as a person. It definitely unlocked certain knots in my body and in my soul that kind of will never be knotted again. The film is about a bunch of women who go through various things that women in the country today are going through. I think that sadly there's a lot of immunity that's been built up towards what women are going through in the country. I feel like this film, I hope that this film might, yet again with everyone else who tries to voice his opinion, Shehnaz Trezriwala did it recently, I hope that this again sort of pushes people to react, and not just react on social media platforms, but actually react in real life. And I think more than anything else, it ends on a hopeful note and really shows you the strength that an individual possesses, and then if that individual forms a group, then strength in numbers. I have, as a woman in this country, I feel very liberated. I feel strong. I think the country's given me everything of who I am today. But I have to say that it's sad that I have to be fearful of when I leave my home. So as you can see, the film it's hard to just talk about the film and just one aspect of it.
I want to know about the process. As much as everybody who listens will find this very fascinating. Talk about the whole process and who the coach was, the acting coach.
So Dilip Shankar was our acting coach, and he's, I don't really want to just call him that because he was so much more than just that. And we would do breathing and meditation exercises every day, and then only start our acting workshop, so to speak, post lunch. I think something really beautiful happens in that process, especially if you're doing it with your co-actors, because you have to develop a bond at the end of the day if you're going to be on camera together. And what was interesting is that we didn't really know what we had signed up for when we got there. We didn't know what the film was called, we didn't know what the script was, we didn't know anything. We just went purely on trust. We got a beautiful email saying that we're going to do an acting workshop. If everybody gets along, we will make a film. And we just six of us just trusted and went. And the magic that has come out of it is magical. For lack of a better word. Yes, I came up with that on my own.
Wonderful, Miss Poetess. When you run out of words, it should just be Sarah, and you are.
Yes.
We're going to come back and talk about Zuban and a few more things. Sarah Jane Dias is in studio.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Sarah Jane Dias is in studio, and what an hour thus far I've had talking about her life and times. Before I go on to Zuban, actually, Angry Indian Goddesses releases April. Is that the tentative date?
Yes, we're hoping. Where we have certain things that still need to be wrapped up, and we want to make sure that when it's presented, it's at its best, which it already is. But I still think it needs a few tweaks and twerks. But yes, I'm assuming the first half of this year is when it will be out.
And Zuban is something you filmed last year, yeah?
Zuban I filmed last year. Guneet Monga is producing it, and Moses Singh directed it. Vicky Kaushal is my co-star. It's my first solo lead. I'm very excited about it, and the most exciting part is that I play a musician. So,
wow.
Yeah.
See what, a fair bit of strumming in it?
There's a fair bit of strumming in it.
Are you going to be singing on the soundtrack? Is what
I might be.
Very nice.
I actually might
Superb.
be. Yeah.
I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for
Me
that
too.
one, yeah? And is it going to be a regular Hindi soundtrack, or is it going to be a bit of English? Have they decided what direction they're going to go in?
Well, I've heard all the songs because we've shot it, and we've shot the music videos and everything. It's a mix of both, and it's spectacular because Moses' references, I don't want to give them out right now, but they were a beautiful mix of the West and the East. And I think that our music producers who've worked on it, Ashu's worked on it, and Ashu's a genius, has managed to actually draw off the best of both worlds and bring it together. And a lot of people say this, but I think he's done a very good job.
I'm really excited that you've signed a Reema Kakti film, because I loved Honeymoon Travels Private Limited and Talash.
So did
I thought they were just
So
fabulous
did I.
films.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes it's difficult to believe that the same person directed both.
Both films,
which is
that,
actually a
that's-
compliment to her.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I say about her too. And I mean, no two films could have come from one director that are so different.
So when do you start filming for that? And what is that about?
Shortly, I can't really say, because then I'll have to kill you. And we will miss you
Do
dearly
not.
on the radio. I won't. I see people looking at us strangely, but no, I can't really say anything besides the fact that I have signed the film and we will start filming shortly.
And what kind of a person is Reema?
Oh God, Reema's awesome. She's
Yeah?
like a bundle of energy. Really, very quick-witted as well.
Have you started reading for
And,
it? Reading for the parts and things like that?
We haven't yet. That's all in the process. I think that I signed only at the very end of last year, sometime in December.
So do you know who's with you in the movie, or you're not allowed to reveal that?
I'm not allowed to reveal.
Fair enough.
My toes are curling because I'm dying to say who, but it's a fantastic. I'm actually very privileged to be a part of this star cast.
Lovely. One last leg of conversation with Sarah. We're going to say bye-bye to her. Don't go anywhere.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Last leg of conversation with Sarah Jane Dias, and I'm thinking, what haven't I asked her? Then I realized perhaps one of the reasons she's really here is that a mutual friend of ours, Atul Kasbekar, picked up the phone on me and said, Sarah's in the Kingfisher calendar. So where was that? It's always got to be an exotic location, isn't it? I mean, that's part of it.
We were in Turkey, Bodrum, Cappadocia, and Pamukkale.
Oh, Cappadocia. I've had friends who've been there and said it's exotic. And how?
It's exotic is saying it very lightly. It's out of this world. I can't explain it to you in words. I mean, they shot Star Wars there for good reason.
Wow.
I don't know how to explain it. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. It was just like mouth gaping wherever I was going. I was like, what? Where am I? It's like being on another planet, literally. Beautiful, just beautiful.
So how does it work? I mean, here's Sarah, the extremely intelligent, cerebral girl, now that I know you, the writer, the musician, and then you have to go, you've got a hot board, and you have to flaunt it for a calendar. Are you able to switch on, switch off now? You're able to do it?
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah. I couldn't, thank you. To be called all those things is lovely. I initially couldn't switch on, switch off that easily. But I have truly started to enjoy everything about what I do for a living, and I think that is what helps the switching on and switching off, because it's you gain momentum with your confidence. You gain momentum with the kind of work you're doing, and I think I've reached a place right now where I love it. I love everything about it.
Is this your first Kingfisher calendar? Have you
This
done
is
one
my
before?
first Kingfisher calendar. This is my first swimsuit calendar ever.
So who did the beach wear? Who styled it? Talk a little bit about the shoot per se.
Well, it was styled by a team. We actually all got together and sort of the various swimsuits were brought out and we just tried them on, and we just picked what we felt comfortable in, what looked good. It
How non-glamorous, Sarah.
How-
It's a Kingfisher calendar. No, but I like this, the background mechanics.
It's true. It's true.
So
There was
people ask
a-
me, how does a radio show happen? It's just they come in, I switch on the mic and we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not really rocket science, it's swimsuits. But I think that I have to say that the reason I think the Kingfisher calendar gets formed is that, yes, they pick some of the most beautiful girls, but the team, that's when I'm talking about Atul, to his assistants, to the stylist, to the makeup artists, truly enjoy and get excited by what they're creating. And I think that actually comes out and it shows. I had the time of my life, and a lot of my girlfriends were like, "You're going with a bunch of models. Are you sure?" Maybe we had a blast.
Yeah?
We had an absolute complete blast.
So
We
you
ate
partied
some-
post-pack up or just
Of
traveled?
course,
What
we
did you do?
partied post pack up. We partied post pack up in a cave in Cappadocia, which was like minus something degrees outside, I think. And we were like drinking red wine and eating freshly barbecued food in this man's house where they've shot a film at Cannes, which is called Winter Love or Winter Heart or something like that. what I like most is this. I always say this. I like the stories that you create on the way to creating something. And there are many fun things. Like Atul made me stand up. He dared me. So he said, will you... I don't think he knew just how much I love singing. And actually, he knows. He said, will you stand up and sing a song out loud? And if you do sing it out loud, this is in the middle of dinner, yeah? When you were sitting downstairs. If you sing it out loud, and if everyone hears, then I'll give you all the money I have in my purse. And to his luck, he had a couple of 100 liras, so they were all mine. We stayed in a hotel that had hot springs in the hotel.
Wow.
So there was no lobby; it was basically the hot springs. And in Bodrum, my room opened up to just endless ocean. You know, not a building inside. I have a deep love for Turkey anyway. Game was shot in Istanbul. I stayed there for a month.
Exotic locations, yeah.
So
where was his house? Anupam Kher's house, was it? No. When you
Anupam Kher's house was in an island off the coast of Greece, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But the entire bits in Istanbul were shot, which was basically just the romance between Abhishek and I. The love.
The love.
So, yeah, the love.
So yoga, how long have you been practicing, and what school are you part of? How much do you practice?
I practice quite a bit. I started practicing about 5 years ago. What I found is that it's changed my life. It's changed the way I breathe, the way I walk, the way I deal with people. I started yoga purely for fitness reasons, and then very swiftly realized that it had actually nothing to do with just your body, and that it's a three-prong approach where you do your breathing, you do your meditation, and you do your yoga. And the union of that is actually what you call yoga. I want to get a teaching certificate sometime this year, maybe 2. Because I do want to teach someday. I've seen that, and I've read that they've introduced into various facilities. The AIDS recuperation facility in Bombay actually just introduced yoga into their rehabilitation, and it's showing great results.
So you do Iyengar yoga, or you do Isha yoga?
I've done Iyengar, Ashtanga, and Hatha. And Sivananda. I'm doing Ashtanga right now, but I think I'm going to get a certification in Sivananda.
And somebody just introduced it to you for fitness purposes, and you just went on from there.
Yep, because I was training in the gym a lot. I was constantly complaining about stiffness, and she just said, Dian Pandey, who's like a dear friend of mine, and it's fitness first with her. So she said, just go. And initially when I started to go, I was like, this is so boring. Because you're doing Hatha, and Hatha is slow and drawn out, I was like, I can't do this for an hour, especially if you're coming from a gymming background. But forcing myself 9 classes in, I was addicted. So, and then I discovered the various other forms and chose what I like most.
Take care. Stay lovely.
I will.
Thank you for rolling by.
I will.